page and invite your friends?
She's not a friend though.
She's not a friend of yours on Facebook?
No,
Really?
I never. thought-provoking, faith-based. The Ken and Mike Show. And now, Ken and Mike.
And now,
Now.
right now, Ken and Mike.
Not according to the screen, but according to us.
According to us, it's now. It's the Ken and
That's what
Mike
I said.
show.
Right now. Therefore, if you were watching us.
Who's Ken?
Me.
Huh?
Me, Ken.
It's
You, Mike.
It's the Ken and Mike
And
show.
Ken and Mike.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Guys, welcome to the show. If you're tuned
Welcome.
in, thank you so much. Share this video right now. We're going to be talking about current events.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about a lot of
yeah.
things.
Yeah, a lot of
Cool.
things, yeah.
And make sure that if you are watching that you participate and get involved because I know everybody has an opinion about this one.
Yes, absolutely.
Everybody's got to have an opinion about this
By the way,
one.
don't forget Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, of course, YouTube. And by the way, we are looking for anyone who wants to come alongside. and
We
help.
are down a man down.
Yep, he'll
Man
be
down,
around. but
man
yeah,
down.
Yeah, we need a couple men, actually, or women, who want to be a part of the.
We are a body down then.
Yeah, we are a body down. So if you want to do some production work,
Yes. Production work, get involved
media
in media
stuff, yeah, we would love
if
it.
you want to play with electronics
yeah,
too.
if you have
come over.
ideas,
Yeah.
yeah,
You wanna,
please come on.
You want to not get paid?
Eventually you will. But yeah, you can email us at thekenandmikeshow@gmail.com.
And speaking of not getting paid, we have opportunities for. We are getting banged.
Yeah, something, buddy.
We have opportunities for advertisement.
Yes.
Come along and support
Yes.
the Ken and Mike
Please.
show. Get our audience will become your audience if you are in business and want to promote yourself. Ken and Mike show is available to help you do that.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Tri-Oak Builders.
So you can find us. Yep, Tri-Oak Builders. You can find us on YouTube,
Yep.
Instagram,
Yep.
Facebook,
Yes.
Chat.
Twitter. Guess what? No, I keep saying castbox.com. It's not.
It's not castbox.com.
It's castbox. Dot.
It's an app.
Yeah, I know, but if you go on the internet though, you can go to castbox. Dot something.
Well, Castbox. Just Google
Yeah,
it. You'll
yeah,
find
Google-
it.
go to
Oh, and speaking
Castbox.
of Google the Ken and Mike show often.
Yes,
frequently,
please.
often, daily, as often as you can. Get us up there in the numbers too.
Please.
Our audience is growing, and we appreciate that. And but every little bit helps.
It does absolutely.
So, Ken, how was your week?
It was excellent actually. Yeah, it's been good. Well, last week was good. This weekend was good.
What'd you do this week?
This weekend. What did I do this weekend? What did I do this weekend? We did something. I did some stuff. I did some yard work. I had Friday night to myself. My wife and the kids were over at visiting her sister, and I had Friday night, and then I did some work on the house, on the shed. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I went to a reunion.
I know you did. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
It was. I went to an all high school. Anybody that went to my high
Yeah.
school went to an all class reunion. I got to hear about some stories about myself that I don't remember.
Oh boy. Cool.
Yeah, I got to hear that. I guess I left a little bit of a mark.
What kind of a mark?
Not a good one, but
Impression or a mark?
an impression. Maybe that's better.
Okay.
Then I also ran into the guy that saved my life
Yes, that's a great story. Yeah.
at there. He was our phys ed teacher, and it was great. It was a good time, and we got to take the kids on a little nature walk at the park that we were at, and that lasted all about maybe 20 minutes. And they wanted to turn around, and we killed
Yeah,
it.
of course.
So that was that. But we had a good time. The kids got to go to a pool. They got to go swimming. I got to catch up with some old friends and some friends, from other classes, people I didn't know but who knew
Yep.
my family and stuff.
I didn't
So
go to
it
my
was cool.
10-year, but I definitely am looking forward. 20 years coming up this year, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
20 years. So
Right?
What, 99?
Did it already
When did you
happen?
graduate?
Yeah, 99.
99.
Did it already take place? Maybe I missed it.
You didn't get the Evite.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Well, that one I went to happens every year.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
But I guess they're not going to do it every year now
Yeah.
because it's kind of losing its
It's luster.
Yeah.
little luster
Yeah.
now because everybody's counting on it every year. So there's not as many. I guess something like 400 people showed up last year, and this year it was like half that. So they're going to do it like every 3 to 5 years. But
Oh, Jenny, it happened already? Is that what you're saying? Did it already take place?
Ah.
Or are you saying yes, like, oh my gosh, it's 20 years?
Ken, do you feel older?
No, I feel young and
well.
vibrant.
So you were 99, so I was 5
I was
years
99,
before
yeah.
you. I was 94. Well,
Yep.
honestly, I didn't graduate, but we still.
And I was
still
17 when I
went.
graduated. I was a young buck. I should have probably stayed behind a grade, though.
I did stay behind.
Did you?
Yes.
I think I would have done better in
I
school.
was a reject.
If I stayed behind.
No, it's coming up in October, maybe.
Oh,
Ooh.
really? Sweet. Are you going?
I'm going to crash the party. If I
Are
know
you?
Kenny's there,
Yeah.
I'm going to go crash his party.
If you're going, I'm going. Yeah.
I'm fortunate. I
Yeah.
went to two schools growing up.
Really?
Yeah, I,
High schools?
two high schools
Okay.
growing up. I went to, for the first semester, they break it up in 4 semesters. Fourth semester, I went to Millbrook High School.
Mm-hmm.
Second and third semester, I went up to Wyndham and did Wyndham High School.
Hey, I
and,
went to Wyndham.
And then the fourth,
Oh, wow.
in the fourth semester, or second and third, and then the fourth semester, I came back down to Millbrook.
Oh, wow.
Oh, what year were you in Wyndham?
90s, all the way up to 95, 94, 95.
He wasn't there most of the time. He was in
Oh, that was before me.
suspended.
That
Right?
was before me.
That was before you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, cool. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's enough about us. I'm sure everybody's completely bored now.
Yeah, and obviously, Jenny, I know you'll have a lot to say about this too, because actually, somebody that we have in common, our uncle, actually posted something pretty bold on Facebook about society today. It was very interesting. You should read yourself. I will not read it on here.
Oh,
but
was it?
It was
was
good.
It PG-13?
Yeah, PG-13, but blunt, but good.
okay.
And you know what? And I know a lot of people that are watching right now. I mean, a lot of people are for, maybe against, and when it comes to the guns or anything like that, we're going to be talking about some of that tonight. Obviously.
Yep, Linda. Yes, Denny. Denny was the gentleman that saved my life.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, exactly.
But
Denny, okay.
Denny Riva.
Denny Riva.
His name was
What
Denny
a name.
Riva. Yeah. I don't need to go into details, so we probably don't need to blow him up on social media.
Did you guys ever call him Diva?
No. He wasn't liked by everybody, but he was loved. He was adored by the kids.
Oh, okay.
Administration apparently didn't like him too much. But
Boy.
anyway.
Yeah. So listen. So obviously everybody knows what's taking place. Obviously, when anything like this happens, we know what the media usually does, and we know what happens. We know.
Get that phone number up there, Mel, because
It's-
everybody's
yeah.
going to have an opinion on this one, and we're going to let it
Yeah,
go.
and it's the same thing each time.
We're
you
gonna
know,
let it
it's
go.
the same. I don't want to say this like a broad stroke, but it's the same rhetoric all the time. It's jump right to conclusions, jump to this, jump to that, and always blame the person that's in charge.
Well, can I just go on the record and say
Yeah.
we can? I'm not blaming any political
No,
party
no,
for any massacre, any shooting, any. I don't care if it happened during the Obama administration, Trump administration. It's not the president's fault.
exactly.
There is
yeah.
a root cause to it, and we want to talk about it.
That's
tonight.
exactly what we
There's
wanna
a
talk
root
about.
cause to it.
And we were talking about that before the show.
It's not white. It's
Yeah.
not black. It's not this person, this party's agenda,
Yeah.
this person's politics. Let's get past all that. Let's start talking about.
And I know people hate hearing this, but okay, it's not. But we say this all the time. It's not the gun that pulls its own trigger. It's somebody behind that. And it's like, well, if we get rid of everything, it's not gonna happen. Let's have a little bit of common sense, a little bit, and say, if I wanted to do something horrible, I don't have to just use.
There's no law that's going to
yeah.
stop you.
There's
from
just
doing
not. If you have some mentality that came from something like
it. Drugs are illegal. How'd that work out?
exactly, and somebody's calling actually.
Is somebody
Yeah,
calling?
I think so.
No, nobody's
there-
calling.
oh, looked like there was.
No, we're good. That's all
You
right.
got scared, didn't you?
You got scared to be challenged by the Ken and Mike show.
not really. Please feel free if you want to call. Please call in.
Yeah, you have an opinion.
numbers
Everybody
right
has
there.
an opinion about this, and yeah, take the time right now to share this video.
Mm-hmm.
Share it with everybody because what we're going to talk about tonight is of interest, I think, to everybody.
Everybody.
I mean,
And please chime in on the comment section. Whatever opinion you do have
Right.
when it comes to the
Kenny-
guns in the wake of what just happened, please chime in.
Dayton, Ohio,
Yes.
El Paso, Texas.
Yes.
Was this President Trump's fault?
No.
Why?
Because he.
Well, everything I see on social media, it's his fault.
Oh,
it's
because
his
he-
agenda, his
well,
politics.
he stirred it up.
He's stirring it up.
The last president didn't stir up anything.
No, not at all.
See what I'm saying? We could always say that. Like,
We can always pinpoint to a party something that we don't agree
Well, let's
with,
make it- let's-
someone we don't like, and say it's their fault.
Let's put it on a small scale. Okay, let's say we're all together. I might say something to you guys that you guys don't like. I might stir a little anger up inside of you guys.
Right.
Will you guys actually physically assault me?
Will I hold you accountable for what I did?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
And if you did, is it my fault that okay? I could have just walked away, or no, you know what? I'm gonna punch Kenny till he's knocked out. Who?
Can we do that live in the
Yeah,
camera? Our ratings
totally,
will go
do it.
right up.
Yeah, do it. Punch me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so I'm not. I wouldn't be to blame. You decided to let your anger get the best of you, or whatever was going on. Maybe you just had some mentality that you just really, really, really wanted to feel
Well, I don't
know what
like-
it felt like to punch somebody as hard as you can in the face. I don't know.
Let's do it right now.
Do it. Do you feel like punching me?
Well, see, it's one thing by you saying that
Yeah.
somebody then takes it on their own to then go out and punch Mike. You know what I mean? So it's one thing if Trump was saying, "Hey, white supremacist,
Yeah.
go out and shoot somebody," but he's not.
Right.
But they're making it seem
Right.
as though he is, and anybody who supports Trump
And that's
is a white nationalist or
Right,
white
exactly.
supremacist.
See, that's the point I'm going to get to. I'm disgusted with the identity politics.
Yeah, always.
I'm absolutely
like
disgusted with
that.
it. We always got to label something because of something. Let's get to the root cause. It has nothing to do with who's in power, who's in the White House. It has nothing to do
No.
with that whatsoever. And the the whole thing is we're starting to find out if we want to pin left or right against each other. Just for a second, I'm going to pick on the left. Okay.
Let's just keep doing that.
Okay, I'm going to pick on the left. If the left finds out that this person had any sort of MAGA hat
Yeah.
or liked Trump in any sort of social media outlet or anything like that, immediately he had an agenda. Yeah. He was a white supremacist. Anything that goes down that's the problem. That's the reason why I did the shooting. But if they find out in his manifesto or whatever that he was a left-wing raging lunatic.
Story closed.
No, either they don't talk about it, or all of a
right.
sudden it's because he was white,
Right.
and now they're labeling it white
Well,
terrorism.
that's actually happened in a few cases.
Right.
And by the way, Mel, back to what you said about if he was saying that kind of stuff, which he's not. What was the left saying? Who was it that was saying, if you see these people out in the streets, you do something?
Maxine Waters.
Maxine Waters. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And
But
the
that's
gas
okay.
station,
That's okay, though.
the grocery
Yeah.
store.
Yeah. No. Yeah. If you,
You push
yeah.
back on them.
Yeah.
You punch them.
Yeah.
Why is it okay for them to play identity politics and call something racist, but the second we turn their cards on them,
Right.
we're bigots.
Right, exactly. So look at the bottom line is it was a psychopath moron who did something like this on all accounts on both instances. And so let's call it what it is.
We are a faith-based
Yeah.
program.
Sure.
Okay, we want to take everything from a faith perspective. So
Okay.
let's go right out there. I'm just going to throw it right out there, and everybody can hate me all they want. The reason for this is because we've removed a standard from American culture.
Right.
I don't care if it's I don't care where you stand on the political spectrum. If we don't have a standard for right and wrong, this is what you get.
Exactly. But they want to play, like you said, identity politics. I'm right, you're wrong, or you're wrong, and whatever it is. But it's not about that. And we've said this a million times on the show.
If the Ten Commandments weren't in the Bible, if they were just the Ten Commandments of moral law, we wouldn't be removing them out of our courthouses and our courtrooms. But the fact that they can align that with a ideology or a belief system, and especially since it has the Christian connotation to it, even though it comes from Judaism, but as long as it has that connotation to it, we want to remove it. Why does it even have to have a religious affiliation? Why can't they just be a guideline? Everybody can agree with everything that basically in the Ten Commandments is something that we could probably uphold.
But it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's about what's right and what's wrong. That's just the bottom line. But that's not happening.
When you remove the standard, one of my favorite quotes by Abraham Lincoln is, "The politics in the school in one generation will be the politics of government in the next." So when you remove the standard for what we hold up as right and wrong, then you are going to get what you see today. Yes. Does parenting have something to play with it? Yes.
Absolutely.
Can you throw some video game stuff into it?
Absolutely.
You could. We need to have some sort of standard.
Look at Mel. He loves video games.
Oh, I know.
And
Mel's was shaking his head when I said it has
Well,
nothing to do with video games. You're right.
It's very interesting because when any time there's a gun issue, they always attack who? NRA.
Oh, of course.
They
Oh,
blame
of course.
NRA
It's the
for
NRA's
every
fault.
gun that is used in a shooting, and so today I was listening to Dana Lash, and she was talking about how they try to use that same narrative that is video games that are causing this. And she says that, well, no, it's lack of parenting. She goes, I play video games. I'm not an avid, constant,
Yep.
everyday player, but I do play.
Yep.
I play with my sons. We go
Well,
hunting, but I teach them
Can
responsibility
I
and
argue
a
with you for a
respect for
second,
life.
Mel? I mean, we can argue right here on the show. I agree it comes down to parenting. Okay? But when we glamorize gore, when we glamorize killing, are we, I mean, are we not desensitizing? Now, it does come down to parenting. Parenting should say you can or cannot be playing this video game. You can or cannot be watching this movie.
Right, but
whatever.
But Super Mario is not teaching me to go
No,
out and
Super
kill.
Mario isn't, but I would argue that modern warfare is desensitizing people that making murder and killing people kind of like, yeah, cool. I get 100 points. You know,
Well, yes,
I think
mean,
that plays
I mean,
into it.
I agree on a small sense, but like she was saying, she's like, I play, but I teach my kids responsibility and respect for life. I teach them to be responsible, that it's their actions. And she says banning objects is never going to be the solution. And that's
Right.
the problem with the left, is that they want to ban these things. They want to follow suit of, what was it, London or Australia?
Right.
What they do, they ban all guns. They had
Yeah.
a recall.
Didn't one of them
Of course.
actually want to do something with knives as well?
And then
Yes.
people turn to knives. So you're always going after
Baseball
the
bats,
object, but
yeah.
you're never going after the heart
The heart of the people.
issue.
And Jesse Lee
it's sin.
Peterson always hits this. You know that. Jesse Lee Peterson is also same thing. He always hits on that. He's like it's the heart of the man. It's the family. He always goes. He has actually a website. I can't remember what it is now, but it has to do with the dads in the homes, especially and that's what I was going to say too about the inner cities, and in those little communities. Basically, what happens this happens every day.
Absolutely.
But the outrage comes when there's like one big mass shooting, and of course it's horrible. It's absolutely. It's like when an airplane crashes. There's a lot of people that die.
Yeah, we don't want to play it down.
No, not at all.
But I know where you're going with this, and I agree.
Right. So, but we forget about there's deaths that happen every single day by guns, by whatever the crime was. But we don't look at that at all until something like this happens,
But
and
since
it's a political gain.
Since it's not a big statistical blip on the radar,
Right.
we don't want to pay any attention to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is happening on a national scale, not just in isolated instances like in
Right.
El Paso and Dayton, Ohio. I mean, this is happening, on a scale bigger than this. If you just look at Chicago,
Exactly.
all right. I mean, but the fact that it's coming in onesie twosies a day as opposed to 34 all at once.
Exactly.
So I mean, where is the outrage for that?
Exactly. And speaking about communities and houses,
Yes.
I wanted to make mention of somebody really great. A couple of guys that are really great, and they are under the the banner of Tri-Oak Builders. These guys, if you want a custom bathroom, a custom kitchen, tile work, these guys are absolutely the best in the area. I'm telling you, they not just because of their work, which is awesome in quality, it's their attitude and the fact that they want to build relationships. And they wanna
Preston
do that.
is the man.
He is the man. So you know what? Give him a call today, 518-267-3288. That's 518-267-3288, or go to tryoakbuilders.com. Get your free estimate today. Again, that's tryoakbuilders.com. So,
Do you guys remember? I might be dating myself here, but contemporary Christian artist Carmen.
of course, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know that song "America Again." He says a statistic in there, and I'm sure now that it's 2019, but this was for the 90s. He said by the time a child graduates high school, he's seen 70,000 murders. And that's from your news reports that are glorifying it. That's from the movies that we're watching, and that's from our video games. Now video games are even more predominant than they were back then or further advanced. So I wonder what that statistic is today. And you're telling me that doesn't play on the psyche of children today?
I think it can, but let's think about this. Let's go back to the Old Testament, right?
Okay.
David, one of David's, when he was young, what did he do? He was to tend the sheep, and he was to go out to where his brothers were, where they were fighting, to the fighting ground, and to bring them food. Did he not?
Right.
So you could say David, as a teenager, probably saw war a lot, probably saw the battlefield a lot. And that's real life. That's
Right.
real life in
Yes.
your face, people dying, people dead bodies, suffering, this and that. So I'm not trying to use that against video games, but what I'm saying is that the heart of the issue, like we said, is not so much what people are being seen; it's what they're being taught. You have to teach kids not to hit. You have to teach them to say I'm sorry. You have to teach them to have personal responsibility. When you remove that and you blame the object or objects or ban the objects, you remove the responsibility from the person who committed that act. And I think that's what the hard issue, obviously we know and we believe that there's a sin issue that has to be dealt with, that needs to be dealt with. There are other issues, mental health issues and other stuff that needs to be dealt with as well. But banning objects and I don't want to say hurting, but taking rights away from citizens who have done nothing is just like if all three of us drive. If Kenny, if you speed and you constantly speed, why do we have to suffer the penalty of you speeding? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Now,
If
we
I
all
hit
keep
you,
speeding,
yeah.
if we all keep speeding, we keep doing it, and we don't obey the law, we all need to be individually penalized. But that doesn't mean that everybody else needs to be penalized as well.
Right. Again, we said this last show too. There's always a bad apple, and actually, Jenny, one of the listeners, actually comments right here. The issue is not guns; it's sin.
No,
and
that's
the problem,
absolutely right.
the problem
That's
isn't
what we're talking
in their hands, but it's in their heart.
That's right.
That's the bottom line, and that you hear that a
Cain
lot.
killed
Yeah.
Abel with a rock.
Right. Exactly. You know why? Because God called it because what was in his heart. He obviously was.
No, I say we just start outlawing AR-15 rocks.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, if you see a rock, hide it
Yes.
because they'll be taking that away next.
It's getting ridiculous. Where it's why? I mean, I think Reagan said. I'm just going to paraphrase this, but Reagan said something along the lines of, "Why are we blaming the culture? Why do we always have to blame the culture and not the lawbreaker?"
I know.
Someone broke the law, so why is it the culture's fault? Let's blame the lawbreaker.
Or, why are we penalizing the citizen
Right.
for the criminal? Because if you
Absolutely.
ban guns, criminals still get guns. They're still going to find ways. If there's no guns, they're going to find something else to use.
Oh, but we can make it more difficult, and we can have sensible. I love when they say that. We need to have a conversation about sensible gun restrictions.
Right.
Well, we can restrict them and do what you call sensible, but then when that doesn't work, you say, well, we need to make more sensible.
Okay, Chicago,
Yeah.
who has the highest
Yeah, exactly.
gun laws.
Run by a Democrat, just so you know. Just want to throw that.
Look
out
at
there.
all.
Well, according to them, that doesn't
Look at
mean
all
anything.
Right.
Look at all the.
California.
Look at all
the
the
homeless
major
situation.
metropolitan areas that are run by Democrats,
Yeah.
and tell me what their economy and
Exactly.
their streets
New York
look
City.
like. Go to San Francisco.
Hey, but
Did you see that map of San Francisco about all the places that can be mapped about where people have defecated?
Yes, they have apps for that.
They have an app for where the defecation, human feces, have been found in San Francisco. And according to the map, I guess there isn't an area in San Francisco that hasn't been dumped on, literally.
sheesh.
I mean,
It's
that's
disgusting.
I just use that as a comparison to we're worried about all you think you can all these Democrats who are running all these different cities, San Francisco, New York, can control our nation, but let's just look at your populace in a nucleus
Right.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's
It
it
puts a
look like
whole
there?
new meaning to the Golden Bridge.
Ain't golden no mo. Yeah.
Ba-dum-bum.
I was gonna say something. I don't remember what it was, but I'll tell you what though. You you nailed it on the head though. I mean, the bottom line is we blame everything else but the actual problem, and that's just all that's what's happening.
Call
here.
me a Bible thumper.
Yeah.
Call me a religious zealot. Call me a nutcase. Whatever you want to call me. I really don't care anymore. The fact that our culture has removed any resemblance or any notion of who God is and who Jesus Christ is, and all of a sudden you want to know what happened. You want to know what happened. You took away a standard of right and wrong. Thomas Jefferson was a deist. Mm-hmm. He wasn't so much a Christian, but he was a deist that he knew that we were created with certain inalienable rights.
Yes, exactly.
That he even said, we have the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness, or whatever the heck that is. I'm going to blow it up and
Life,
kill it
liberty,
anyway.
and the pursuit of happiness, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, him, even a deist, not even being a Christian by general standards, even said we need to have a standard of right and
Well,
wrong.
hey, we had a guest
You
on
remove
here.
that standard of right and wrong. Look what happened.
We had a guest on here a while ago, and that was David Horowitz.
Yes.
And what did he say? He is what did he say? He was what was he?
He was a Jew.
He was a Jew, but he was also agnostic or something like
Yeah,
that?
he was an
Non-practicing.
agnostic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
He was a
non-practicing.
Yeah, he's
non-practicing
non-practicing
Jew.
Jew.
He was an agnostic at one time, but he uses the.
But what did he say, though?
He
He's like,
uses scripture more than the people that believe.
he's like, well, why do you obey the laws here, and why do you agree with the way that the founders set it up? Because I love America.
Right.
And therefore, I live here, and I want to obey its laws, and I agree with them as well. So
Same thing with Dennis Prager.
Yeah.
You know who Dennis Prager
I
is,
do,
right?
yeah.
Dennis Prager is a Jew by all rights. Is a Jew. Prager U.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember listening to a speech by him. He said, "Here, me, I'm a Jew." And I guess there was a time in Los Angeles where on the Los Angeles city seal there was a cross on their seal. And him being a resident of Los Angeles, I guess all the people are rising up to, we need to have separation of church and state, and we want to remove the cross off our seal. Dennis Prager, who was a Jew, he said, I respect what this nation was founded upon, and I respect the laws of this nation. Me being a Jew, I will fight to the death your right to keep that cross on that seal.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, there's people that understand what the standard is, understand what this country was founded upon, and then once we remove all that, we want to cry foul.
Right, exactly. There's a lot of different things happening in facets happening in our society today. Things are absolutely changing, obviously. But do we change our standards like you're talking about? No, we don't. But that's the problem. Not only are things changing with our society, with its technology, with other video games, whatever it is, but the bottom line is, too, though, is that when you start to do that, when you start to just say, like, well, I'm going to move the goalpost a little bit here because I don't really like that. Let's put the buffer over this way a little bit more so that we have a little more leniency in this area. Don't do that. We got to stop doing that. By the way, Sam, hi.
What's up, Sam? We see you. Vincent, Vinny, we see you. How you doing, Joe? If you're still watching, good to see you. But like you say, even using your analogy, if we're constantly moving the goalpost, we're constantly moving how you score.
Right.
I mean, who knows how to play by the rules anymore?
Right, exactly. There's got to be rules, and it's not to be the same thing with God. God's not trying to like get in our face and make us feel horrible. He's doing like, I know what is best for you, and the founders knew that God knew what was best for us, so they did their best to put something together so that we would have boundaries. We give our own family. Hopefully, everybody does this. When you have a wife and kids and stuff, you have boundaries set up for protection. You protect your own house. That's what we should be doing for our country as well, obviously.
Hey, what do you think as a viewer of the Ken and Mike show? What do you think the major proponent of why we're seeing events like this? Please give us a call. The phone number is right there. Be a part of the conversation. We really would like to know your opinion. I'm not saying we've cornered the market on
I'm not
what
saying
we
we
know
know
is
it.
right
Yeah,
and wrong,
we
but I would like to know what other
We don't
people's
know.
opinions are.
Absolutely.
Matt, if you're watching, no.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, no, please don't, Matt. Actually, no. But I'll tell you what, though, we don't know the answer. You hear that a lot on this on social on people who are honest, not just trying to just put blanket statements out there. But we don't know the actual answer. We know the answer is God, but we don't know all the logistical aspects of how to fix this kind of stuff. But I'll tell you what. When we come back, we're going to do a little bit of a new segment, change it up a little bit, and you'll hear more from us right here on the Ken and Mike Show after the break. Here on the Ken and Mike Show, we not only love building relationships, but strive to be honest and integral in all we do. Thankfully, this is the same philosophy held by our friends at Tri-Oak Builders.
Tri-Oak Builders, who are right here in the Upper Hudson Valley, are a family-owned company that puts these values to work in everything they do. From custom bathroom builds and renovations to kitchen and tiles, they've got you covered, and all at a fair market value.
So, if you're like us and like doing business with companies that want to provide the best service possible for their customers at an affordable price, then you need to call the builders you can trust, Tri-Oak Builders.
Call them today for a free estimate at 518-267-3288. That's 518-267-3288. You can also check them out online at trioakbuilders.com.
Tri-Oak Builders.
Where building relationships matter.
What was that?
Our video was a
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
I moved all the things to a folder and
Apology accepted.
as I say, I'm sitting here watching
Yeah.
myself mimic myself in the commercial. I'm like, wait a minute, we're not supposed to be on. But anyway.
And by the way, if you guys don't want to call in, you don't want to. Listen, if you're not afraid to hear your own voice, come on, call in.
You can use a messenger too. Go right
Yeah.
there with the messenger.
Sam, if you're watching, feel free to call in, buddy.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah.
We'd love your opinion, Sam.
And any of you guys, if you whatever whatever you think about in light of what's happened over the weekend, please chime in. What do you think? What do you think there's an answer? And we'd love to hear what you think
The
it is.
answer is Jesus Christ.
It is logistical aspects of the answer.
So,
yeah,
before we get back into that,
yeah.
don't you have some news?
We do. Do we want to go to our news segment? Do we want to go to our news segment?
Here on the Ken and Mike Show,
Yeah.
Kenny hits puberty.
Finally. So yeah, we're gonna get very serious, even more serious now, and get to some things.
We really need to talk about some of this news.
Yeah,
that
we're gonna go to news and then
saw.
some facts.
Yes.
So Mel, hit us up when you are ready. As I fix my microphone really quick, it's a little loose.
That's a cool thing about being live. People could see
Exactly what's going on
everything
in the
that's
studio.
going on. That's right.
So there's some serious things happening. And we'll get to. I'll read some of your comments there. Kayla,
I'll read the
second.
comment while you
Yeah.
get your news.
This one from Florida. It's not, always something happened in Florida. If it's not some guy taming an alligator, it's something else. So there's an airplane fuel cap that plummets into a Florida woman's yard. Now this isn't. I guess this wouldn't be hilarious, but a fuel cap from an airplane fell out of the sky and sliced through a Florida woman's screen enclosure when she was sitting
I just had a
outside with a
visual.
friend. Yeah. Well,
I just had
here's
a
the thing,
visual.
though. I'm like, I'll tell you in a second what kind of cracks me up. Dara Hackett, boy, said she and her friend were on the patio of her winter garden home Thursday. Winter? There's no winter there. Thursday when they
Where
heard
was this?
Florida.
There's no winter.
And they heard a sound that she said was louder than a gunshot. Like a very, very loud bang. A ting noise. Was it a bang or a ting?
Ding.
She told whatever. Then you heard it hit the pool and splash. Hackett recovered a disc-shaped metal object measuring about 8 inches in diameter. A label on it, the object said, yeah, exactly. Fuel servicing, it said on it. Some online research revealed the object was a fuel cap from a commercial plane. Now, hopefully the passengers are good, right? But she didn't care about that. She said,
No.
that could have killed me, she said.
Never mind.
Yeah, and that could have killed my friend, and it could have killed my dog.
Never mind the 200 people flying.
Yeah,
above
if
you.
you could, yeah. So the Federal Aviation Administration said it is investigating the incident to determine where the cap came from. So obviously it flew off of something up there, but I mean,
Every time I hear about things falling off an airplane, you remember the movie Joe Dirt?
oh yes, I do actually. Yeah, that guy's got the
What's
greatest
it, a
mullet.
meteor?
Yeah,
And then he was eaten off of it.
let's get a little more. Let's get a little more serious.
Okay.
Okay.
Vinny says, surprised they didn't report it as a UFO sighting. Ah.
If it was, yeah, I bet you, yeah.
From Area 51? Oh, it's Florida, a little far away from it.
It is, yeah. We could talk about Area 51. I
Well,
mean,
there's a lot of weird things in Florida.
yeah, there is actually.
Florida
Let's get a little more
I call
serious
Florida,
though.
I call Florida God's waiting room.
Yeah.
That's where you go to retire. don't you?
Yeah, actually, I don't know why. Some people go there in the summertime. I'm like, why would you go there in the summertime? It's so humid. So listen, this is important, okay? I don't know if you believe in karma. I don't really, but I mean, this person does. Bad karma inspires ketchup thief to make amends to restaurant. This is sad. A remorseful thief who swiped a bottle of ketchup from a New Jersey restaurant gave the eatery 2 new bottles, along with a letter saying the incident had brought them bad luck. Poor guy. Now, listen to this. Get serious, Mike. A manager closing up Wednesday night at Perkins Restaurant in Lacey Township discovered a brown bag next to the entrance to the business that turned out to contain 2 unopened bottles of ketchup and an anonymous letter. The letter, which the manager shared on Facebook, explained that the author had taken a bottle of ketchup off a table while dining. Okay? I thought it'd be risky, the letter said. I am as square as they come. I'm glad he's not like a circle or something like that. But I'm as square as they come.
That was bad.
Yeah. Well, like a disc flying out of the sky. So, and this is the worst thing I've ever done. The letter said that the theft had brought them bad luck and bad karma, including their car being hit by another vehicle just hours after the incident. The thief wrote that they hoped replacing the bottle with 2 new bottles would repair their karma.
Maybe their life would catch up a little.
Okay. Again.
I'll be here all night, folks.
Yeah.
A little mustard,
No.
aren't you?
Yeah.
Try the veal.
Again, the letter said, I am really sorry if I inconvenience you the same way my life has been inconveniencing me. The person wrote, I'm sorry from an awful person. The manager said the person, this is the thing that got me though. The manager said the person is forgiven and the employees had never even noticed a bottle of ketchup was missing. That's the best. Who cares? Yeah. But if
Oh
you
my
believe in
gosh.
karma, obviously, you know.
You know what's interesting?
Yeah.
It reminds me of this weekend. I'm not going to give this person's name away, but somebody made what I call ketchup butter.
Okay. That sounds gross, but go for it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they're trying out some things, and they want us to try this ketchup that they made.
Yeah.
It's got, I don't know what it's got in it. I know there's some honey in there, but it was more like a butter, like a ketchup butter than
Ketchup,
it really
honey?
was.
Like a mustard, like a honey mustard? Like
no,
ketchup?
no, like red like a sauce.
Okay.
And they thought they were calling it apple ketchup or something like that. And I was like, I think it tastes a little bit more like ketchup butter.
Ew.
So they gave it to my wife. My wife brought it home. So
Yeah.
this story just reminded me of the ketchup
On
butter.
a side note, all right, I have to take a poll here in the studio.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, because I actually did this in church. You know,
Okay.
it's kind
I'm
of
gonna read this, too.
do you eat ketchup on eggs?
Sometimes.
I used to once in a while on the scrambled once in a while, but
That's disgusting.
I don't like ketchup. I really don't. That was like a long time
I
ago.
do
on
on
eggs.
eggs.
I was going through a phase.
That's sacrilege in my book.
Bacon, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup.
I'm a
Some people eat ketchup on macaroni and cheese too.
I'm an
That's
over easy
awful.
kind of guy though. I like over
Hey,
easy.
if you're watching, do you eat ketchup on eggs or ketchup and macaroni and cheese? Because if you do, unsubscribe from the Ken and Mike Show. No, just kidding.
Okay, are you listen, I by the way, just so everybody knows, I'm a gluten-free kind of person, so I eat
Kayla,
gluten-free
I
bread.
thought I liked you.
Yeah.
Man, ketchup on eggs. Yeah, she said.
So on gluten-free bread, I put my over easy eggs, and I will afterwards take that other piece of bread and it's great. Some people don't like that. Oh, I love it. I
love
like it a lot.
Wow.
Over easy or not? That's
I don't know.
important. It's important. It tells a lot about a person.
don't
They
know how
say
we went
very
from-
smart people, intelligent people, drive a Saab and eat eggs that way. That's me.
That's a sob story.
Kayla, what did she say about that? About that first part?
I'll read. Oh, well, I'll read it. I mean, that's gonna do my facts. but,
Oh
you know,
my
you-
gosh, Kayla,
you know,
will get back
see,
to
he
you in a
just
second.
blows right by me.
So
He
the
had
news
to-
segment
he
is
said
now
everything
over.
He wanted to say, but Mike,
You cut me off
You know,
earlier, so
forget-
that was
you know.
payback. All right, go.
Did I?
When you get a thought, you just go.
I repent and apologize.
No, you don't. Don't apologize. Let's hear these incredible facts.
No, I don't want to now because you're telling me what to do.
Now it's control. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I know, right? Oh man, you have control issues. Okay,
They're working.
your stupid facts of the day. Only one person in 2 billion will live to be 116 years old.
Wow.
These are facts that I found. These are interesting.
It's going to be me.
I won't read that because I'll get called racist if I read that one. So I'll move on.
Okay.
Women blink nearly twice as much as men. They talk that much too.
Mike, I think you read that one last week.
No, I didn't. It's not highlighted.
I think you read it to us.
I read it to you guys. The main library at Indiana University sinks over an inch every year because when it was built, engineers failed to take into account the weight of all the books that would occupy the building.
That's cool. Well,
That's
sort
a
of.
cool fact.
Yeah.
I'm going to read this one, even though I think Kenny thinks he disproved it.
Okay. Yeah.
And you know what? We'll let the people
Decide.
hear this one because in their
peeps.
head, in their head, they're all going to be going, "Is it
Yeah,
true?" And they'll
yeah,
be saying
yeah.
it. No word in the English language rhymes with the word month.
Dunth.
No word in the English language rhymes with
That's
the
a
word
word.
month.
Google dunth.
All right, hold on. You're so confident that's a word. What does "dunth" mean without looking it up?
I have no idea.
Yeah, okay, then. So no
just
word
Googled that
in the
"dunth"
English language rhymes with the word month. Anyway, average lifespan of a Major League Baseball is 7 pitches.
What? Say that again?
The average lifespan of a Major League Baseball is 7 pitches.
Wow.
That's a waste. We need
Yeah.
to talk about it.
Yeah.
Economics with
Yeah.
MLB. All right, last but not least. I found this one fascinating. It's small, it's stupid, but I thought it fascinating.
Okay.
A snail can sleep for 3 years.
That's awesome. I know a couple people like that.
So moving on, back to our topics.
Pang.
Hey, if you hey, that was cool.
That is cool. All right, yeah.
didn't
That's
hear it, but
supposed
that
to
was
go
cool.
before a commercial, but
Yeah,
I'll allow it.
you
Thanks,
know.
Mel.
Control freak again.
Hey, by the way, I want to say something. We talked about this a little bit. I don't know if any of you guys have heard this too. One of the presidential candidates, great guy, Uncle Joe Biden, who's running for 2020. Yeah, he says.
Can I smell your hair?
From behind. Yeah. Biden said.
I thought it was supposed to be engaging and enlightening.
yeah, that's engaging.
He got it. I think he's still over there processing it.
I'm just trying to keep the show going.
Oh, gotcha. But yeah. Oh, we lost a couple people too. Darn it. Yeah. Oh, gosh. We lost our Christian folk. Okay. Listen, Biden says he's coming for assault weapons as 2020 Dems urge new ban in wake of shootings. Once again, put a ban on it. Ban should just be short the whatever for a Band-Aid. That's what they want to do. They want to put a Band-Aid.
Wow, you're having problems
coffee.
tonight.
Band-Aid on a problem. You got a fly in your mic, by the way. You got to put a Band-Aid on
Can
the
we
issue.
ban guys over the age of 78 running for political office and trying to have a coherent sentence?
Thank you, Bernie Sanders. You're out. You're like 90. You were banned like 20 years ago. So listen, I'll tell you what. What the heck?
Do you feel the burn?
Yeah, no. I know somebody who does. I
Let
won't name
Biden
it.
smell your hair.
Yeah, right. A mutual a friend. It's on your shirt now. A mutual friend of ours. I wouldn't say friend, more of an acquaintance now. I'll just use his first name, Dave. Yeah, he felt the burn. Mr. Dave L.
Yeah, I'm sure it's flaring up again.
They have a cream for that.
Oh.
Wow.
What'd they say?
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Yeah, that's right. They aren't taking it. That's right, it's Kayla.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
So do we want to read what she wrote?
Yeah, I do,
Or
actually.
we kind of just glossed over
Yeah,
it
while
because we
you-
were having too much of a good time.
Yes.
Do
Sorry.
you want to read this, Kenny? Go ahead. Your turn.
Okay.
Your turn, because I'm trying to keep a straight face.
Put a ban on anything. It won't ever get rid of it. It almost seems like when there is a ban on something, there's more of it. That's it. Yes. Because people go stock up on it before it happens, for sure.
Yep.
I believe it unfortunately comes down to parenting. A lot of people that I know around here don't even have a good thing to say about their parents, and it is so sad. I've had so many people tell me how lucky I am to have a mother like I do. I am definitely blessed. I know that I couldn't have gotten through everything that I have without my mother.
Amen.
Kayla, I could not agree with you more. Mom is amazing.
I think it also comes. We're also seeing a shift in American culture where there's just no respect for authority anymore.
Amen.
That, and there's also a demasculinity going on, where we're removing the masculinity from men. And remember, with this amped up society that we have,
Interesting.
just stirring up, like
Interesting,
whether
Jackie.
it's men out of the household or whether it's just taking away the masculinity
Yeah.
within men, and now we see this kind of outright
Yeah.
of aggression going on,
Yeah.
because there's just pent up anger, pent up frustration going on, and I think with a mix between the political climate, between the social media involvement, and amping everything up,
Yeah.
it just creates this pot that's just going to boil over, because like we said and Kayla said too, you're putting a Band-Aid on the issue is never going to solve the problem. It just maybe help or maybe suffice your base for a short period of time.
Momentary period.
But then when something else happens again, or it's somebody on the other political field, then you're hush about it, and so it's never going to solve the issue.
Jackie, thanks for chiming
I
in.
want to touch on that. Jackie says it's my opinion that Uncle Joe has more class and is much more of a gentleman than the current occupant of the White House. You know what? I'm gonna agree with her,
Sure.
but right now I don't care about class.
Yeah.
and I don't say that kind of tongue in cheek, and I don't say
Because
that
it seems pretentious.
Yeah, I don't say that to be a smart aleck and trying to get laughs. I won't argue. Joe has a very folksy,
Yep.
can kind of get along down to
Yep.
earth. And I think, before all this weird stuff came out about him, I thought if anybody had a shot in the Democratic Party, I would argue
Yeah.
that Joe did.
Because he's more in the middle.
Right. But my problem with Joe is I mean, other than the fact this will be the third time he runs for president, and his last two campaigns didn't work. My problem with Joe is he's a panderer.
Yeah.
He panders to the room.
Yeah.
He takes no hard line stance on anything. I don't care Republican, Democrat. I just look at the person as far as where they would stand. If you obviously know me, I'm going to vote down the conservative line. But I'm open enough that I can look at other parties and say, hey, does this person have a shot, and what are their positive attributes? I hate to say that I'm a one issue voter, but if you don't side on the side of life, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care who you are.
Exactly.
I don't care what
Sorry.
side of the fence you are. If you don't
I'm
side
not
on the
even
side
gonna
of
pay
life,
attention.
yeah, I'm going to start. That's where I start.
Yeah. And by the
Where do
way,
you
I don't
stand
want
on
to
it?
hear. I don't want to hear. Well, at
and-
one time
and
somebody.
Joe is a
yeah.
big panderer when it comes to that.
But I
so.
want. And I don't want to hear the whole thing. Well, like at one time somebody they weren't on the side of life. But
If-
people change.
I don't care where
so
they are now.
therefore, what's now?
Right.
If he can't stand against Kamala Harris
Yeah.
on a debate the other day,
Yeah.
he's not going to stand against Trump.
Yeah.
No.
Again, but I see what you're saying though,
And
Jackie.
back to what we're saying, Trump on a personal level, I probably would hate the guy, and I don't like that.
That's
I
not what
don't
most
like the
people
guy.
say. People don't say that about him though.
But Trump as a leader right now, I'm sorry, he's what America needs right now.
because he knows how to delegate to other people. And by the way, I mean we have a very diverse White House. Honestly, we do. Whether that's female, male, they're all there, and black, white, whatever. But the bottom line is like again, going back to the whole aspect about. I'd love to hear your opinion, Jackie. By the way, what you
Yeah.
think about guns in general and how they should be, because we know where your background and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But what do you think should happen as far as put class aside, put the president aside, put Joe aside? What do you think is the answer? I mean, obviously, it needs to be Jesus Christ in the midst of all of this.
Amen.
But at the same time, what do we do? Just you can't take everybody's guns and think that this is going to just solve everything.
I know everybody,
It's the
and
heart.
I know a lot of people are going to go with the argument of, well, there needs to be background checks. I agree.
Yeah, I do
There
too.
are.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm just going down the list. I agree there should be background checks. But then they go, well, I think there needs to be a mental health screening for people. Now, that's fine if you're going to put the mental screening in the hands of the professionals who
Exactly.
do mental screening.
Exactly.
But the fact they want to delegate this to judges who have no medical background, they have no, they can't make a decision based on something that they're not schooled in.
Right.
And it's judges, and it's the people that are going to write this legislation. And there's also that gray area. I mean, you can say anything is a mental defect if it doesn't agree with a certain agenda, politics, or wherever you go on that.
Talk about the red flag laws.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's just who is going to make these decisions? Do we have? Let's go back to that word again. Do we have a standard?
Right.
What is the standard? Let's establish a standard. I don't have a problem with mental health background checks. We need to really vet people as far as having any mental health issues. But who is making the call? You can have somebody sitting in a judge chair because he doesn't agree with your politics and has looked through any social media accounts that you have and say, oh, they got a screw loose. Why? They have a screw loose because they don't agree with you.
Yep.
And then and that's how we're going to base our decisions. I have a problem with that.
Or it stops corruption.
Right. And before you get to Jackie's comics, I want to hear that in a second. But I want to say that sometimes, when there's a great boss, he might be a little edgy. He might be a little bit, over the top, whatever it is. But when he's a great boss, when he treats everybody and goes by the book of the standards of what the company was built upon, and it does well, I think that's important. And it appears. I mean, it doesn't just look. I mean, it's factual that our president now is going by what America's standards have been. I don't know what's wrong with that. That's where I don't understand why people.
What is wrong with fighting for America?
That's what I don't understand.
What is wrong with fighting for
That's not
America
nationalism.
ideals? What is wrong with that?
Right.
What is wrong with putting the American people first? I have nothing, and we'll get back on immigration again. I have no problem with immigrants.
Right.
I have a problem with illegal immigrants.
We have a friend. We said this last time. We said this last time. Yes, they're paying another $600 to try to get their green card worked out because they're doing it the right way.
Right.
I mean, that's important to me. I mean, and for other people to just jump over and be here and then say, hey, no problem, just pat you on the back and say, yeah.
Listen,
Get a
people
license
call
too, by
in.
the
The
way.
phone number's right there, 518-751-8402. Once again, that's 518-751-8402. Call in. If you have an opinion, we would love to hear it. We'll put you on the air. And I would love to talk back and forth. This isn't a who's right or who's wrong
exactly.
debate, but let's have a discussion. That's how we come to an agreement or at least an understanding. If we can sit down as civil human beings and have a discussion,
Right.
we don't have to agree.
Right.
And because we don't agree on
We
something,
can make each other think.
right, we can make each other think, and we don't have to resort to, well, since I don't agree with you, you're a bigot.
Right, exactly.
I don't agree with you. You're a
And that's
racist.
what happens.
You know, these words are losing their strength and their power now, just because we're throwing them around so flippantly that since you don't agree with me, you're a bigot, Kenny.
People are going to come with their opinions based on where they're at or what they know. And so, but we all can learn more. What does Jackie say about that?
Jackie wrote, for guns, it's a spiritual issue. It's more difficult for an immigrant to legally obtain a visa to work in this country than it is for people to obtain assault weapons because of a loophole. Let me read that again. For guns, it's a spiritual issue. It's more difficult for an immigrant to legally, are they a legal immigrant? Anyway, for an immigrant to legally obtain a visa to work in this country than it is for people to obtain assault weapons. That's two different topics.
Yeah.
That's apples and oranges. I think they're two different.
No, Dad, you can't obtain an assault weapon.
Right. I mean, I think those are two different topics. I'm not trying to belittle. Oh, we have a phone call. Hey, thank you for calling the Ken and Mike Show. You are on the air. Who are we talking to?
Hey, this is Jackie.
Hey, Jackie, how are you?
How are you?
Hey,
Super
we're
good.
alive and kicking.
Yeah.
Can you hear
Glad
us?
you called.
Good. I put the comment in and I thought I should call.
Good. That we
please
maybe you
call.
can explain it better. It's hard to kind of
Hey,
write.
guys.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm wonderful.
her Facebook is on.
I love watching the broadcast, and I love that you guys are willing to offer a debate.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, just do this. I think
Is that you? Are you have Facebook playing live in the background right now? Because we're kind of.
I do. I should move away from the phone, right?
Yeah, just
move
'cause
away
we're getting
just
the
from the speaker,
feedback.
just because we're getting the feedback. But go ahead.
Yeah. So please tell us.
Is it better?
Yeah.
Is it better now? Without
That's a
the
lot
feedback?
better.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
By the way, I love Jackie. She's one of my favorite people.
Yeah. And she comes from a great background, so she has a lot to say in this too. So. Please.
Well, thank you. And you're right. It's two different subjects. It's absolutely a spiritual issue.
Yes.
With the killings, it's just evil, and you know, in a word, it's evil, and I don't think we can describe it as anything else.
Amen.
But since these things have become more commonplace, I was looking at the news this morning, and I don't often watch the news any longer because it's really just sad.
Yes.
You know, and I look at what they teach our children in schools now, that lockdown drills and how to survive an active shooter has become commonplace and part of the curriculum is absolutely disturbing. That's what our children have to learn.
Yeah.
And so it's absolutely evil. I don't think there's any other word to describe it. But as far as the guns go, I am a proud gun owner, retired law enforcement, firmly believe in the Second Amendment. And the Second Amendment, you know, was originally put in place to protect us from government overreach.
Yes. Amen.
Yeah.
Which is what
Can
why
you say-
we need
can
to
you say that
stand
again,
against
please?
it now for government.
Can you say that again, please?
Say it again.
Yeah,
Yes.
say that again, please.
The Second Amendment was put in place to protect the citizens against government overreach.
Period.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. Continue with your
But
point.
to that
Yep.
end, I also am of the opinion that assault rifles were originally intended for the military, not for the common citizen. I can't think of any reason that I would need a weapon that allows me to fire multiple rounds in a few seconds. Call it target practice.
Can I argue
call it-
with you for just a second? And maybe I think
Yeah, absolutely.
maybe it's just a difference in opinion. Okay, but I don't think. Well, I think our founding fathers were taking technology into account with this. But you know, if the military can get, I'm a firm believer, and you can call me an extremist, okay? But I'm a firm believer, if we are concerned, if our founding fathers put it in there, put the Second Amendment into place to protect us from tyranny, to protect us from a government that could possibly suppress us and, basically do what Great Britain did to our founders, but get to the point where they're doing that overreach, if they can get their hands on it, I'm not saying our American citizens be able to get a hold of a Sherman tank, but if they have the weaponry, shouldn't we be able to be equally able to defend ourselves?
Yeah.
Just a question.
Yeah, but all right. So I'm going to agree with you.
Okay.
But let's think about really what's the likelihood of that happening.
Well,
We got a better chance of getting struck by lightning.
can we talk? Can we talk
I
about
could go out
Germany
and
for a
play the lottery.
second? Can we talk about
I got a
Germany?
better chance of hitting the lottery, and
Yeah.
I don't because I'm not going to give them my dollars.
Yeah.
Well, you're saying what's the chances of that happening?
That
well,
happened in Germany with the Jews.
What the Germans said. What are the chances of a lot of things happening there that they said would never happen? And by the way, Hitler had the church's backing in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, look how that turned out.
Right? True.
It's there. I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't think anybody should have a couple grenade launchers. And
Yeah, I'm not saying it's carte blanche.
Yeah.
Go to a buffet and pick out. I mean, yes, there should be some standards
Yeah.
that we need to facilitate. We need to have an understanding who's going to create those standards and who's going to vet it.
Yeah, but I agree. I see what you're saying though, Jackie, and that's the thing. I'm like, these people though. At the same time, like you said, it's a hard issue. It's a spiritual issue. When we look at like Sandy Hook or any of these things, I mean, how they get their hands on this stuff and who these people are is
Right.
important. Like, who is this person that's buying something? So when you go to the store, I think if you're there and you're buying 500 rounds of something, they should at least you could. I don't think it's wrong to question that. Like,
Absolutely.
who are you? What is their background? Like we said, we background checks, and if there's anything that triggers any kind of like something mental, I mean, you don't know everything about everybody, but if there's if there is any kind of mental health or anything there, depression, suicide, anything, it's a no. I mean, obviously we got to look into this further. Sorry, can't sell this to you. I don't know.
You have my backing on that as far as that goes. But then again, like I said, who's making that decision? Because, you said someone who had depression, somebody who had this, that, people could go through anybody's social media feed now and say, oh, they were having a dark day back then.
Right,
They
yeah.
might
Absolutely.
have some issues with depression. So they can just use that as a blanket statement. Next thing you know, nobody's able to get anything.
Right.
Or how about this? People who were in the military who suffer from PTSD, how many mass shooters were there that were ex-military or veterans that suffer from PTSD? Probably very, very,
Well,
very,
no,
very
but
small amount.
You can take an ex-military person with PTSD who goes to seek assistance from a qualified professional, and if they find out would not be allowed to possess a weapon in certain states, and that's not right.
Right, but what I'm
You
saying,
know? So
I agree.
I think that there has to be something in place nationally that every state has to abide by. Whatever the agreement is that they come to that makes sense. Of course, not again protecting the Second Amendment against government overreach, but somebody from here who has some homicidal tendencies should not be able to drive to Georgia, buy something, and then come back here and
Right.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Got
Right.
it. Got it.
I
And by the
totally
way,
agree.
don't make that legislation hastily in the middle of the night, too. By the way, what's happening here in the state.
Right,
Exactly.
right, and let the American people be a part of it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think what we need to continue to do, I truly believe that we have more influence at the local level than we do at the national level. So, I think we need to be really pounding on the doors and at the same time praying for and marching with or against or our local leaders.
Yeah. No, absolutely, and putting our opinions out there because we have the right to do that still, right? We have First
We do.
Amendment, and that's
That's
that is
First
important.
Amendment.
And she said a
And then
key
the
word
Second
there.
Amendment is gonna-
Right, exactly.
And Jackie said a key word there, walking with, marching with, but she said another key word there that I really want to key in on that we talked about earlier, praying for.
Praying for
Absolutely.
Everything, no good movement of God or anything of any meaning in the Christian community has not been successful without first going to prayer.
exactly. Yeah,
Absolutely.
because if we can start there, I mean, we can when we start to get off astray, we can go back and say, okay, let's go back to where we started here, because we're coming from the Word of God. Let's go back to that again, because we're getting confused here.
Right.
And I think that's
Right.
We got to keep that standard. If we uphold a standard, then we know where we all stand in regard to issues.
But
like
I love
this.
that idea, though, on a national level. If we could all come together, and whether it's a census or whether somehow something's put out there that we can all put our ideas in there, or somehow, some
And this
way.
is why I like callers like Jackie.
Yeah.
And Jackie, thank you for calling us. This is why I like, 'cause it's a dialogue. We don't have to all agree,
I
but
love
let's have
you
a dialogue.
guys. I love the
Cut me off, didn't
topics, and that you're always open to dialogue and no ketchup on eggs. So that's it.
Amen, sister. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, over easy or scrambled?
Oh yeah. Answer that. Over to easy or scrambled?
Scrambled.
They're good too. They're good too.
You guys have a good night.
Jackie, thanks for calling.
Yes,
Okay.
thank Jackie.
God bless you.
Bye.
Great points.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, it depends on what
Yeah.
the application is
Yeah.
of the eggs.
Right. No, but great points though, as far as that goes. There does need to be something in place for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like stricter. We have them there, but there's got to be something. There's got to be something that we can do. There has to be something so that these people aren't getting these crazy people that are happening like this. I mean, we can't keep them all from everybody.
No.
But I'm sure there is something to again. But the word that I meant to say is community.
Right.
We're all a community. Let's work together and stop fighting each other on every single thing, and
And
say, okay, we don't want anybody to die.
You're right.
Obviously,
And everything doesn't have to point back to a single individual or a single person that is to blame.
right. We said that last time. There's always a bad apple in every crowd.
Right. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a leftist, you're a rightist.
Right.
Let's call evil for what it is.
Right.
It's evil.
Right.
It's wrong.
Right.
It's bad.
Right.
Okay? Let's call it for what it is. Now, if you're a Trump supporter, it's not because it's Trump.
Right.
If you're an Obama supporter, like one of these guys was supposedly a leftist,
Right.
it's not the
It was a Warren
left's
supporter.
fault.
Right.
Okay, or Warren. Yes, it was a Warren supporter. It's not their fault, and I'll go out there and say, it's the left. See, it's right. No, I don't care who it is. It's evil. It's wrong. It's of the devil.
Let's support life.
Right.
That's those who are about to be born or unborn, and those who are living right now.
And it all becomes down to our culture.
Sure.
Our
And we
culture is.
had a whole show on
what,
this.
What did the scripture say? The scripture says, if my people who are called by my name are to humble themselves and pray, turn from their wicked ways,
Yes.
I will hear their cry and I
Yeah.
will heal their land.
That's right.
I don't remember exactly what the scripture
That's
says, but
that
something
is yeah,
along those lines.
That's it.
And it all starts with prayer.
Yep.
We have a standard. Let's uphold it. Let's uplift that standard so we both know where we are. We're accountable to
Yep.
it. Where we are in relation to that standard.
Yep.
It all starts with prayer. And I know we were talking about before the show. Everybody says, "Oh, thoughts and prayers. It's bogus." Blah blah blah. No, everything does begin with prayer.
Well, here's a scripture that's in the Psalms that we hear a lot. Where there is unity, He commands a blessing.
Yep.
That's the thing. We obviously are not unified, and there's always something at every turn. And of course, I think the devil's at work here too. But in our culture, it's always something to divide us. What the heck? Why? Stop with that. Like let's come together.
What's up,
that?
Dwayne? How are you?
The Rock?
No.
No,
Okay.
it's interesting because that's what our founding fathers, they left a tyrannical country to come worship God freely.
Yes.
And they learned from where they came from and said, no, we need to stop this from happening. And that's why they put, these amendments in, the First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third,
I
Fourth.
think I know exactly who this is. Do we have time? I mean, we're running a little afterwards, but
We'll take a quick call.
quick call. This is Ken and Mike. How are you?
Yeah.
Oh no, here we
Who
go.
is this?
It's
Mike,
yes. What's going on, man? How are you?
what is up?
This is Dwayne. I met Dwayne in that one of those Christian chat
Awesome.
avenues where we just all have opinions. So
Okay.
I'm sure Dwayne has one. Go with it.
Yeah, go with it. Got 30 seconds.
Go with it.
Yeah, it's we met like a little while ago, and it's funny how crazies meet on the internet, don't they? and it's not even Craigslist. That's the weird part.
Go ahead, man.
Hey, checking out the show for the first time, man. Always hear you talk about it.
Well, we
But,
appreciate you
decided-
calling in.
I decided to call in and hang out with you. And
So, did you hear any of the show about the gun debate that we were talking about earlier? What's your opinion?
it's funny how, because me and you have talked about this plenty of times on Christian Chat, right?
Yes,
I mean, many a times. And how many people on there do you always see that are anti-gun?
a lot of them. People that espouse to have the same beliefs as we do. So it's good to say that there is a cross section of people that can believe the same thing that we believe, but have a different opinion. So that's a good point for this avenue in
Yeah.
this show.
Which is always good, because you learn early on in your life to always respect other people's opinions. However, though, people tend to forget that just because you disagree with something,
You're not evil.
Right,
whereas
right. You're not a
this
bigot.
whole gun, this whole gun thing is just, most Americans have grown up with guns. They've learned about guns. They know it's the person behind the trigger.
Absolutely. We discussed. It's exactly one of the
Exactly,
things
yeah.
we said earlier. Yep.
It's universal rule number 101.
So, Dwayne, that, and also I saw you said Trump 2020. Was that sarcasm, or are you behind the Trump train?
No, I'm a Trump supporter.
Oh, yeah, good. Hey,
Yeah.
we don't mind. You got three of them here, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trump supporter. I mean, honestly, besides Reagan being one of the other best presidents that we've ever had, it's the best thing about Trump is he's a non-career politician.
Right.
Right. I agree with that.
He is.
He has this magical tool called a backbone.
Yep.
This is true.
And he understands the business of America.
Yep.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, he's going to have to look at some things like as a business.
Mm-hmm.
A business, you're going to have to make some cuts. A business, you're going to have to do some add-ons. And it's not going to make
as a
everybody happy. You're not going to be
as
the
a
popular
business,
person.
you're going to have to make some decisions that some people aren't going to like.
Right.
You have to be willing to be unpopular.
Yeah. And he is. I
Yes.
mean, obviously, he thrives on it, I
Yeah.
think. Which
Yeah,
makes him more
but
popular.
You figure if the rest of DC would pull their heads out of their rears and actually smell the fresh air for once.
Just so you have your finger over that beep button. I thought something was coming.
No, you're good.
I looked at it just in case.
Now, Mike will understand what I'm saying, but there were no spatulas involved, probably.
Yes, we can't get involved in that one. But hey, Dwayne, you called towards the wrapping up of the end of our show, but I wanted to get you on and say hi to you and say thank you for calling.
Good meeting you, man. Thanks for calling.
Oh man,
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for letting me join you.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of awesome to kind of actually get to interact with you on it. And I mean, we always talk about it. And,
Yeah, well, I'm glad you called in. Next time you got to tune in a little bit earlier so you can
chime in, brother.
Be a better part of the show.
Yeah.
no, you're gonna have to come into CC tomorrow morning so we can cause our usual havoc.
We will do that, man.
God bless you, brother.
Thank you for calling in.
Hey, before we close up,
We'll see you later, bud.
All right, later.
question. What do you think? Obviously, there's other countries that do this. People right after high school go into the military. Do you think we should have something here in our country that doesn't have to be military?
Israel does that, doesn't it? The mandatory
I'm pretty
2 years.
sure.
I think it is.
Israel, I think China does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it has to be military, but what I like about that, and I almost kind of get like, man, I kind of wish I like the structure.
I like the idea of it.
I don't think I know, because then again, it's that kind of government kind of control thing. I get it, but I think that option should be there to be like, hey, before you go to college, there's something for a year you can go in and do some basic
I
training or
wouldn't
something.
mind putting a PR spin to it where it's kind of promoted,
Right.
and kind of glamorized a
Right.
little bit to make people maybe turn towards that avenue
Especially
a little
for
bit.
kids who have troubled childhoods and
Right.
stuff like that. It's good structure.
Well, there is. It's
I went to
always,
military school because of a troubled childhood.
And you got
It's
kicked
always
out.
available. it's always available.
Yeah.
The option
Right,
is always there. It's
right.
always there. Whether it's ROTC,
Right.
whether it's National Guard, whether it's some kind of not military school,
Right.
but some kind of boot camp style thing or
Right.
whatever. It's always there. But I think more towards responsibility,
Well,
training, that kind of stuff.
you bring up a good point, Ken. I mean, I don't know how, saying, like you said, making
Right.
it national where, where government gets point. But I think what a good thing about, especially in the military, for some of these people who think they know it all,
Yeah.
I think it would give them a good appreciation for what this country is, who this
Yeah.
country is, and that discipline and having that standard of having to answer to an authority. The problem is that we're in this culture today, we no longer respect authority.
Right, but it's a win-win for everybody because
Right.
it's a win for our society, but it's a win for them because they're like when they get done, they appreciate
Yeah,
themselves.
the pride you have that you served your
Right,
country.
right? Or
And
even
the brothers they band with
Right.
who
Right.
are from different
I
nationalities.
fully regret it. I wish I went into service. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
And
Actually,
I'll admit, I mean, my father was Sergeant Major in the Marine
Yep.
Corps. Okay, so I was raised in a military household. And then, due to some circumstances in my life, I had gotten put into military school.
okay.
So by the time I got out of high school, I think I had enough with military, and I was like, that's it. So I started rebelling. So I've had military everything. Had I went through with it, though, I mean, you're looking back 20 years, I'm 44 years old now. By this time, I would have retired.
You're right, yeah.
It's like, my life
Could've been
could
an
have
officer
been
or
totally
something, yeah.
different. Yeah. So there's something to be said about military service, and I give honor and respect to everybody who has served.
Same
out
here.
there.
But I think it has
Yes.
to be vetted.
Thank you.
I think it has to
Yes,
be vetted.
but what about this though? Stuff like this, like troubled teens. Okay, instead of like putting them in some juvie or putting them into jail, say, hey, listen, guess
camp.
what? Guess what you
Go
get
to
to
boot
do?
camp.
Yeah, you get to go to boot camp, and it might be like, but they're honestly going to come out a changed human
Yeah,
being.
scared straight.
Yeah. Hey, I think that's that's a topic for another time, maybe. But I think that's a
we
great-
got to wrap up. We
yeah.
went over tonight, and it was a good topic.
Good.
Well, it's only 10
Yeah,
after
but-
9.
but thank you,
I
Jackie.
keep looking up
Thank
at
you,
that
Dwayne.
clock, thinking
Yeah.
it's further
Yeah.
ahead.
Thank you
But-
guys for calling in.
Hey, thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you for the new people who
Yeah.
have watched tonight. I see Jerome tuned in. That's awesome.
Oh, and thank you, Tri-Oak Builders.
Yes, Trio Pros. We
Give
never
them a
gave
call.
them a second read.
518-267-3288. Give them a call for a free
Or
estimate.
trioakbuilders.com.
That's right. Mike, thank you.
Thank you,
Elijah,
Ken.
thank you.
Hey, Ken.
Hey, thank you.
I'm cutting you off again.
Are you? Mike? Mike?
Thank you. Tune in. Facebook, YouTube,
Castbox. The
Castbox,
app.
Twitter,
Instagram.
and Facebook. Join
Google
us.
us. Google us. Google
We
us.
love you. Tune in
God
next
bless you.
Tuesday. Tuesday at 8:30.
8
Or
p.m.
8 p.m.
Eastern Standard
Time.
God bless.
God bless.
The Ken and Mike Show.